bit of a
drummer boy.
wait.
Listen, we were late today because of technical issues. I was on time.
You were on time, yes.
I worked very hard to be on time today.
You
I was like, I
were.
gotta be dialed in.
You were very on time
I had made my coffee ahead of time. I had made coffee for Nick ahead of time.
Indeed,
and then
yes.
technology
And then we just
started being
hit
what
tech
it
problems.
was.
Yeah.
So are we in fact late?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we are.
But are we alive? Who knows?
Are we live? Can you see us? Can you hear us? I am Mike. That is Nick. We are going to rapidly review what is ultimately a large month of gaming.
A large
as
month.
is typical.
Yes.
The month following Dice Tower West, or really any convention,
Any
is usually
game-playing con, yeah.
a bigger month of rapid reviews. And we
Although-
had Dice Tower West a few weeks ago, so...
Yeah, I think it's like 106 games, but I think like only like 31 or 32 of them are new. So it's like it's a lot of games we played before, because especially at like
At cons, that's kind of... We
Yeah.
are typically teaching
we are
games
teaching a
and-
lot, like especially Dice Tower West. I feel like I was teaching the entire time, which I love. Like I love teaching games. I love teaching people my favorite games.
I played a few new things for sure at Dice Tower West, but I also like taught a bunch of people like Kanban EV, and, you know, things like that.
I had multiple times at Dice Tower West where I was teaching people games, but I wasn't even playing them. Like they had like 3 separate times where I taught a game, but then I was like, all right, bye.
Yeah, you taught us like Imperium.
I did,
for
yeah.
example. Yeah, which I appreciate.
Indeed, we'll talk about that later. Mikey is very into an Imperium right now. What's up, Dave Phillips? We got Starfire, we got Paulina in chat. Hello, Jackie Thomas. What's up?
I'm gonna pull up our Patreon.
Oh, I got it right here.
Nick's got it right here.
I got it right here.
Well, I'm going to talk about the things that we also release on Patreon.
Yeah, that's right. Talk about the things we release. I'll talk about the new patrons. Thank you so much again for being patrons. If you are one, feel free. Michael's going to talk about some stuff that came out. We will shout out our new patrons at the beginning of every month. So we got D. Wall, Joshua Gray, Cassia, Trevor Ferguson, Cody Martinez, Robert Stapper, and Chris Grace.
Boom. Those are some new people. And as we always talk about here on Patreon, Patreon is a great way to support the channel, number one. We try to give back by adding, some fun content, additional top 10s and things. In this last month, you can see Jimmy and I give a first impressions, mostly for Jimmy, first impressions and first new impressions for me of Galactic Cruise.
Yes,
we have a couple of caption contests going. We have an additional Murph matching game, which is legally distinct from the Newlywed Game. So if you enjoyed what we did on here on YouTube, there are more of that. On that, we have first impressions on Imperium Horizons. I'm going to give more impressions in a minute on that.
But if you want those first impressions,
Yeah,
because you'll eventually get them during rapid reviews, right? If you want them first, like
Absolutely.
directly after the game is played.
Absolutely. We have some best of the weeks. We have additional 2-player games that we really enjoy. And some additional deck builders, all from the last month. So go check that stuff out on Patreon, my
That's
friends.
only going to increase,
Absolutely. But we have, 30-odd new games, 100 games total. We'll do our kind of new standard way of giving some time to talk, give quick reviews of the new to us games. We'll quickly go through the old to us games. And if there's anything we really want to stop and talk about, we will. But we'll mostly say, yay, good, bad. And the reason is if we're replaying games, typically it's because we enjoy them. So,
generally, usually. But yeah, so again, we'll go ahead and get into it. So again, we'll start off with the new games here. Again, all these are in alphabetical order, so just know that. And yeah, we'll get a roll in here.
Gonna get a roll in.
You played Agricola?
I played Agricola, man.
I'm sorry.
I played it. It's really good.
That's it.
Better than Caverna.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think that's false.
No.
As someone who's never played Agricola, I doubt it.
I played a game of Agricola on Board Game Arena. It's enjoyable and stuff. I want to play it in real life to get a better sense of how things work. But it is Caverna-ish, where you're going to have like kind of more actions come out throughout the game.
Yep.
But here you're kind of focusing more on the farm side. There's no cave side,
of course,
to deal with. And
you're not cave farmers, you know.
Yeah. In similar to kind of Caverna, I'm kind of like finding it's like I gotta find ways to get more workers and like find, but of course that's more people to feed and stuff. So I surely have not mastered Agricola.
You're an expert now, yeah.
But like, again, it's kind of what I expected because we have played Caverna.
Every other Uwe farming game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
but
at
here
this
you're
point,
making fences, you're making fenced areas, you're actually building the fences versus Caverna kind of takes care of it for you.
Yeah.
Get them pre-fenced.
I do want to try it, to be fair. I do like to lovingly trash on Agricola, but I don't think I'll like it more than any of the other farming games, but like I'm sure I'll like it a lot.
Because I want to play some more.
It's an Uwe farming game.
Yeah,
so
I need to kind of get my brain around it.
Up my alley. I'm gonna play Banana Boy versus Unicone.
What a name!
This is
what is that?
This is a Vito Lacerda game. This is a 4-hour game of
it's a re-implementation of the campaign for North Africa.
There you go, exactly.
And,
yep. I played this with Amy and Maggie from Thinker Themer, two of our very, very good friends who we love dearly. At Dice Star West, we got to do a panel with them, which was very, very fun.
That was a highlight, man.
It was probably the highlight of the whole con for me.
But even beyond that, like a highlight of our entire career.
Oh yeah,
that was a really
sure,
cool moment.
for sure.
Yeah.
Amy and Maggie, if you don't know from Thinker Themer, they're the two of the greatest people who've ever lived. Go check them out. They have a wonderful channel. But nonetheless, I always make a point, because we see them basically once a year at Dice Star West, because they live in Australia.
Sure.
So like I always try and make it, like, we need to play at least something, even if it's really small. I did get to play a couple games, but this was one, Banana Boy versus Unicone. This is a simple, silly little matching game where like there's all these cards out on the table, and you basically they're double-sided. On one side will be like the top half of like a little boy like this or whatever, but then the other side is like the top of a banana or whatever. And basically you'll take a card, flip it, and they'll flip another card. You basically want to flip two of the same cards.
So you want to make like an actual
person
or an animal.
And then there's like colors too, where if you flip two of the same color but not the matching thing, because if you flip two of the same cards, you get to keep the cards. If you flip two of the same color, you get to keep one of the colors. You're basically trying to have the most cards. But it's just a silly little memory game that we were playing while waiting for other people to play something else. But it was a silly little game.
I mean, it makes things like Banana Boy and Unicone now make sense, and I like that a lot.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
It's great.
Weird matches.
It's a
Strange
weird
little
matches.
Minotaurs.
This is that bird game.
Sure, this is a logic game. There's actually a few of them on Board Game Arena, and this is the bird one as one of the types. So I saw this kind of on the header of Board Game Arena, and it's a logic puzzle kind of game, like a Turing machine and stuff. Obviously more aimed at families, although there are higher level difficulty ones to try. I quite like it. Kind of like a Turing machine, you can kind of do a challenge every day.
How tough are they?
They're not super tough, but if you go and play it, it'll kind of take you through, I think, 3 levels, and each time it kind of gives you more and more things to have to consider, so it makes the puzzle harder. So on that last one, it does make you think, and I will mess it up sometimes.
Cool.
It's really cool. So like the bird one, for example, here, you're basically trying to put these birds in a row in the correct order. And it'll give you, I think, 4 cards or 5 cards that'll say like, this bird, the blue bird and the pink bird have to be next to each other. The blue bird on the left.
Okay.
So I know that the pink bird can't be to the left of the blue bird. Got it. These 2 birds can't be next to each other. The green bird is in the 3rd slot specifically. So you have some like, concrete information, kind of like a Sudoku, and then from there you kind of can put together the rest of the things. There's other versions where it's like you're putting animals into a jungle, another one where you have like all these kind of monsters and you're putting them on different floors of a hotel. Again, very family friendly, which I love.
Yeah.
And want to pick these up in real life to play with Logan when she's a little bit older. It's super cool. And then again, if you play on BGA, it takes you through like the very base level, you'll do pretty easy and quick, and then the medium and hard level. I love it. I love it. I love that it's really family friendly and stuff. I think it's super
kind of like Chip Theory did that Chip Theory Kids games that were also essentially just logic puzzles, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, please do so much more of this, because the more we can gamify learning is like how kids prefer to learn and experience the world through play. So. I really enjoy it, and I play it often. I think it's really, really fun.
Oh, that's great.
Did
you only play birds or you play the other ones?
Huh? What's that?
Have you played the other ones?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
It'll play, if you play it on BGA, it'll take you through the 3 types.
Oh, I see. Cool,
and stuff, which is really great.
Alrighty. We played Crafting Cosmos. So last Friday, usually we stream on Fridays. We weren't able to last Friday. I don't know if you're going to stream this. Oh, no, last Friday, sorry, I solo streamed. When did we play this game?
It was like it was on Tuesday or something.
It
was on I don't know when it was.
No, so we played this game with our good friends Paula and Matthew, 2 of our besties, over on Paula's Twitch channel. We got to play Crafting Cosmos over there. We all streamed it on BGA. It was really, really fun. I really like this game. I know you've been playing this game a lot with Jamie and Jeff from Foster the People.
I cannot beat Jamie for the life of me.
Jamie is a savant at this game, apparently.
She's so good at it. I'm like,
apparently.
What?
But this is this really cool game where you essentially are going to move like these like marbles around this thing, which are going to give you like various resources and stuff. And then you kind of have your own Cosmos board, and there are like nebulas there, and you're essentially trying to make stars
you put in the right
around this nebula. Exactly. So this nebula wants like 2 hydrogen stars, a helium star, and a carbon star, right? So you have to like make those stars around it, and then if you ever complete around that nebula the stuff that it wants, it'll then flip over and score you a bunch of points. And then there's also like life in this universe, and then like proto-life, and then like advanced life, and then you're also scoring points for that. But it's basically this big puzzle where like you'll have multiple nebulas on this board, and this one wants like 2 helium, and this one wants 2 helium. So if you put your pieces in between both, it'll count for both of those.
Yeah.
So you're kind of trying to like work out this puzzle of like trying to get these various nebulas and then also trying to get the correct stars around them to then be able to basically do this whole scoring thing as efficiently as possible. Yeah. I did not. I was just like, I think we both almost got lapped by both Paula and Matthew. It was real bad. It is
absolutely a game that by the end of the first game you're playing, you'll be like, oh,
I did this badly.
Because like you can move your stars around. Like one of the action types as you move these marbles around is movement. You can move your stars. You can move your signs of life around, and it's really about efficiency. Because if I have like 3 stars in a row, and I want to move the star in the back of the line, it will just leapfrog over everything to the first available space. So it's very much about like I need to create this chain so I can efficiently move this over here. And to score hopefully multiple nebulas in a turn and stuff like that. It's a game that you can get so combo wombo like efficiency puzzle to the max. It's very fun to try to be like, how big of a turn can I have?
Can I flip over like 3 nebulas this turn? Right?
And you probably could figure out how to do it. It is a fantastic game.
It's really fun.
These cards you can get that have these abilities and powers that are just going to change stuff up even more.
Production quality is like nuts in real life. Like,
the
super
production
cool.
is super cool looking. So we're hoping to pick this one up ourselves. But this game is super fun.
I really enjoyed it.
Really, really fantastic. So
it's good. Office Dog crushing it. Absolutely crushing it.
They're on fire.
You played Crosswords.
This is like a quick little play at the end of a night at Dice Tower West.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Things and Rings
both words
ish, where you're putting down words and there's kind of you're looking for like the word that pertains to these kind of 2 areas and stuff. It was okay. We played it kind of briefly, but it's sort of a word version of Things and Rings, but I'd rather play Things and Rings.
Okay. You heard it here, folks. Yeah. Okay. Trash. You got to play Daitoshi at Dice Tower West. I still haven't played it yet. I really want to.
Man, it's really good.
I've heard it's good, yeah.
I got to play Daitoshi. Played it with Visor and our friend Dan. Kind of
late?
Yeah, which was sort of my cadence at Dice Tower West.
I was going to bed way earlier than
playing a crunchy game late at night.
You like to do that at cons, though.
I do like to do that.
You're like, it's 11 o'clock, let's start a freaking 3-hour one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey, I'm always like, it's 11 o'clock, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. So we started this one about 10, I think. And it's a cool game. It's interesting. So it's a game where you are kind of collectively building up a city. You are getting these inventions and putting them onto your player board and sort of taking occasionally a turn where you sort of run your factories and you're using all these inventions which are going to produce resources and points and stuff. It's kind of steampunky.
Okay, the cover looks steampunky.
Yeah, you got like there's this kind of mega machine that's going around. It's this kind of like airship situation.
Yeah, cool.
You're going around and you are kind of just like. It's kind of got a lot going on in terms of like you can build a city or you can move your little worm bus around town and collect all these resources and stuff and the inventions you build and the points you kind of generate from that. You're just kind of building various little engines and stuff and gaining workers and using those workers and putting them in town and stuff. But you're also kind of balancing because as you are taking these actions in the city, you are unfortunately exploiting the land, and you are
been doing that.
You are making the kind of local spirits angry. So you can be in conflict with the different spirits of the kind of the mountains and the forests and stuff like that. So you're also trying to kind of clean up your act and rectify those problems, which I dig
That's
in
cool,
this kind of kind of mythical style steampunky world. Like you're having to hopefully not destroy your area as you try to build things up, and that's kind of a central thing to this game is that balance point.
Cool.
It was really interesting. I really liked it. I want to play it again. At this point, I'd have to kind of relearn it
Yeah,
again.
at this point, right?
But I enjoyed everything that was going on. I did very well, which is always
it's always nice,
when you
right?
first
You
play,
crush,
I was just
yeah.
like, oh man, I got this engine going, and I'm just like collecting these points, getting all these points, and that felt nice. So I felt like I really got to build something. It was cool.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Game. Yeah.
Love to see it.
I see why so many people dig it.
Really dig it, yeah. We got to play a game about Deep Shelf. We did a playthrough of this, so watch that playthrough if you want. This is a game where you are exploring and kind of like mining and kind of exploiting the deep shelf, which is kind of like this kind of very deep ocean area, kind of like the Marinara
Building
Trench
up
or whatever.
yeah, mining and stuff.
Yeah. This game was cool. It was interesting. It was, again, it's this game where everyone has like an asymmetric faction. It's a very big game, both physically and it's like, it was like a 2-hour playthrough for us and stuff like that. It was a very big game. But it's a game where you're kind of trying to build up your infrastructure. Everyone has an asymmetric faction that work a little bit differently, and you're playing out these action cards. And the first card you'll play normally. The second card, if the card has like an extra ability on it, you'll get to do it if you play the second card, but then that card will go away for a turn, so you can't kind of keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you're like moving around your like submarines and stuff like that. You can then like build out buildings. Those buildings can like extract resource, and you can send them to smelters, and then you're basically trying to smelt them into ore, and you can use those ore to like spend for money. You can also use it to get these like upgrades, which are really important, which kind of upgrade your whole system. You're trying to do a whole bunch of different stuff. There's like a sea dragon, kind of for some reason.
Don't know what the Death Dragon was
I'm not
about.
entirely sure what the
Didn't
Death
care
Dragon's
about
there,
that,
but hey, it's there. It's a cool miniature. It was cool. It's a game that's like kind of so big and so like grandiose that we probably wouldn't play very often. We played the competitive version. There actually is like a co-op and solo campaign version.
I really want to
I'm
check that
actually
out.
really curious. I think it'd be really cool to be like co-op, especially in a 2-player aspect where like I think a lot of the game is like, so a lot of the fun comes from the fact that you're getting in each other's way, but in a 2-player game, you kind of just don't because of the fact that the board doesn't really scale that much. It scales a little bit for 2 players, but not a ton. So I'm very curious about the campaign mode. I don't know if we'll ever play it because like I just, with how little we get to play games for fun, I don't know how often we're going to pull up Deep Shelf, but I did think it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was fun. I don't know how often we'll come back to it, but it did have some cool stuff going on. I liked all the kind of technologies you can get with that refined ore to increase your capacity, increase your movement, do various things like that. It's ultimately a fairly low-scoring game.
Yes.
But you're doing these research tracks and stuff and everything like that. But yeah, I'm kind of in the boat of like, I would love if we return to this one to try the co-op mode, see what that provides, what that brings, and kind of go from there. Because I think, especially with a game where you're sort of exploring the ocean, you're also dealing with exploiting
Yeah, you are. You
ocean.
collapse the whole shelf, yeah.
And being careful with that. And so it's like games like that, I'm always just like, I'd rather be working together instead of,
I'm curious how it goes.
Various companies. It's probably idealistic to say, but like,
Right.
I'd rather if I could choose.
Yeah, it'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
None of this was the real world, right? We can choose.
Why not?
But yeah, it was cool.
What we got?
Don't go in there.
Do not go in there.
Do not go in
Nick, real quick,
there.
off topic, how you feel about French cleats?
Love French cleats. I been in my shop, in my garage, making French cleats the last number of days? Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm putting it in my
wow.
whole living room. It's going to be all French cleats.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So I've made the cleats. Now I'm in the process of making shelves.
Nice, right on.
So I've been doing nothing but making French cleats.
Making deep shelves. So Don't Go In There is a game we play with David Phillips right there in chat.
Maybeth.
And Maybeth.
And Sackfish.
And the slackest of all the fish.
Yes,
and this
indeed.
is a game where you are kids going into a haunted house. You're not supposed to be doing that. It says right there, don't go in there, but we do be going in there.
We do be going in there.
And then you're going to be basically dealing with various curses.
Yeah.
And your whole goal is to be essentially the least cursed person.
Pretty much, yeah.
By the end of the game. And you are going to be drafting these cards that are all negative. They're all bad for the most part. However, they all have ways you can kind of get rid of some of your cards and mitigate stuff.
Mitigate the badness.
Yeah, mitigate the badness. So it's, I can't remember if you collect like masks, for example. In each game, you're using a certain number of the curses, so that'll change from game to game. But you can like pass these ghosts to players on your right and stuff like that.
Because I can't remember how many cards you play, but there's like a bunch of different like decks. There's like six or 4 or something like that. Yeah. but there's a whole bunch in the game. So you're
Yeah.
only using a certain amount, but like one of them is like these like creepy twins. And if you can find both the same twins, you basically get to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But if you only get one of the twins, then you just have to keep that twin and they're worth negative points. So it's kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're doing this kind of like worker placement where you're placing like your pieces on the different like rooms of this kind of haunted house. And then once all the spots are filled, or I think 3 of the spots are filled, that's when the house will resolve, and that's where you get cards. And basically, if you're at the top, you get to have first choice of the cards. But a lot of times there's like bonuses on the lower ones. So there's like all this different kind of stuff to mitigate it. It was really fun.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
It was really fun.
The production's really cool. The box kind of opens up and becomes a dice tower because when you resolve a location, you have to roll these ghost dice, and you're collecting ghosts, and you kind of don't want to be the one with the most ghosts.
And I collected
A lot of ghosts.
A lot of ghosts. Nick sure did. Lost some points there. But yeah, it's just, I love the idea of like you're drafting these cards that you don't actually want. You don't want any of them, but you can selectively draft cards that are going to, you know, be the most beneficial for you. It was just a super cute, fun game. I like that there's a bunch more of the types of curses.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to play this again next year at Dice Tower West and try all different curses because it'll be a very different game in terms of what you're collecting, what you're trying to go for. I thought it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was really
nice production.
Yes. Very
You know, ultimately fairly small and everything. The locations have little abilities and things as well.
Yeah.
I had a freaking blast.
Yeah, it was
playing
fun.
this
It was
game.
really fun. Great company, great game.
I really like this game a lot. It's just really adorable and a great kind of family game. Yeah, really
It's
awesome.
cool. It's definitely cool. You got to play Galactic Cruise. Now, technically, we've played this before, but this is the first time Mike and Jimmy played it. That we have played the final version. Although, is it different?
No.
Right? It was pretty done.
We played a prototype, you know, this time last March, but it was very, other than some incomplete art.
Yeah.
It was
It was done. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't think it had changed, but I wanted to check,
So I just played the base game. I do have the expansions coming, but this game is fun, man. It's a ton of fun.
I think it's such a cool, it's one of the coolest themes.
Yeah, it's a game that's really openly inspired by Vital Lacerda's designs. It looks kind of like the Gallerist. It's got some Kanban EV to it. But it's Jimmy and I were talking about it in our first impressions on Patreon. It's a generous game. It's a game that doesn't, like, not that there's nothing to think about, not that there's no strategy or anything like that, but it's just like, you know, for example, if I'm going to get these blueprints for segments of my ship, you know, these various bits of entertainment I have for these cruises, you can collect the blueprints for free. You have to pay to build them.
Yeah.
But I feel like in some other games it'd be like more work to just collect the blueprints even, and I like things like that. It's just like you can just take them. If you want a new ship, you can just get a new ship.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't ever launch that ship, you'll lose points.
Right.
But you don't have to like pay a bunch of money to take the ship and stuff. So there's things like that where I'm like, I appreciate it because there's plenty more to think about. This is a game, again, you're putting on Galactic Cruises. You are kind of building up this infrastructure.
It's basically Fifth Element.
With,
the board game.
yeah, kind of. You're
Lost in Paradise.
you're gaining new workers. You're building up your kind of infrastructure. You're gaining access to technologies. Launching these cruises, you're getting these certain guests on that will hopefully match the various things that your cruise provides. If you have adventurous guests, you want to have a bunch of segments of your ship that have adventurous things like zero-G paintball and just crazy stuff like that.
The segments are so silly,
Yeah, and you are kind of building up as you go. This is a game that, like, you know, we played it a few times last year.
Yeah.
Just played it again, and just with the base game. And we played mostly just the base setup.
Yes.
In terms of like the pre-printed board. There's another side of the board where you can, the action spaces, you can kind of randomize. Yeah. And I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, I really want to start doing that to see how it changes things up.
Yeah, because the standard
and the
setup
technologies can change out. And I need to kind of...
Yeah, because the standard setup, they're set up in that way to be synergistic.
Yeah, the action types, because when you place a work, you can do two actions, and usually the paired actions are fairly synergistic.
Yeah, so but mixing them up might really change
Might really change your strategy, and I kind of feel like I'm at that point now where I need to do that. And also the expansions seem really cool, and like seem like they juice things up. That's the one thing I can say is like the segments are fun and everything,
but they're all the same.
They're just icons.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of aren't super impactful in terms of like, oh, I'm specifically getting a circus because of this. Like, it's just entertaining, so good for families. I'm putting it in. And I think some of the expansion stuff kind of like boosts up those choices, which I think will be really cool.
Really cool.
But it's, with all that said, a super fun game.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it again.
But I kind of need to start like changing things up from just the base mode setup. And the base mode setup is only, I think, meant to be used in that way so many times to see kind of like what that changes.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's a very enjoyable game.
Hey, cool. Awesome.
Highly
Hi,
enjoyable.
Ruel.
And the final, what's up, Ruel? Boo? The
Love you,
final
dude.
production is absolutely gorgeous and great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
yeah. It's outstanding. Speaking of the Gallerist you mentioned, you got to play the Gallerist for the first time.
did.
I played the Gallerist for the first time a couple months ago with our friend
Yeah.
Charlie, but then we streamed it. Our patrons chose that one, and you got to play it. So what do you think of the Gallerist?
I really liked it.
I like the Gallerist a lot.
I really enjoy it. It's a game where you're running an art gallery.
This is a Vital Lacerda game.
This is a Vital Lacerda game. This
Not
is
some cheap knockoff like Galactic Cruise.
this is one that is kind of recommended as like your first Vital Lacerda game.
Would you agree?
Yeah, probably.
I guess.
It feels fairly simple.
Yeah.
Like there's like these 4 action spaces you can go to. And you're doing actions and you're gaining art. You're sort of commissioning artists to make stuff for you. You're bringing patrons into your art gallery. There's these different people that are kind of in the central court, and you're kind of trying to lure them
It's like
over
VIPs,
to your
collectors, and like investors and stuff.
so you're kind of luring them over. That's kind of where you see in Galactic Cruise. There's like 3 types of guests.
Yeah,
You're trying to get them
right.
on your cruise. I enjoyed this one. It was quicker and kind of easier than I kind of thought it would be because we have played a lot of the other crunchier. It's not a light game or anything.
No.
Crunchier Lacerda games, and so this one went down smooth.
Yeah, I
enjoyed
really
it a
like
lot.
it.
I'd like to play it again. I don't know if it'll like hit like the pantheon of like my ultimate favorite Lacerdas.
I don't think so, but I do enjoy it.
I will happily play it again. But like Lisboa, Kanban, and Speakeasy, which is still to come out, are firmly the top 3 in whatever order.
It's going to show just how good
and I don't think
Speakeasy
it'd
was,
crack those, but that's not a knock at all.
No, not at all. I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's just like, it's smooth. I would say it's probably the easiest to get it because Kanban, especially with like the meetings and stuff, Kanban can get kind of weird.
Get a little-
But yeah, it's like, it's simple for a Lacerda, right? But it's it's like kind of straightforward, but it's cool. Like the collecting art, I think is cool. I really like the theme of it. It's got a cool look.
Yeah.
I like the Gallerist a lot. Yeah. It's V good. V good.
Vital Lacerda.
Vital Lacerda. All right, let this run real quick. Blamp.
Okay.
Mikey got to play, so I taught Mike, Shay, and Benjamin.
Yes, you did.
Imperium Classics was one right before you saw
Played
this
that Dice
one.
Tower West, and then you and I followed up with the Horizons.
Yes,
you played Horizons.
So I just taught them because I was too tired. So I was like, I'll teach you this game, and then I'm going to go to bed. So they played that, and then we played Imperium Horizons, which was kind of like at the top of your want-to-play list of games that we had. We played it kind of like late-ish at your place after like Logan had gone to bed and stuff like that.
That's right.
Because they're ultimately the same game. Like,
I mean, they're all cross-compatible.
yeah, there's Imperium Horizons has an
there's different
expansion
factions.
in it, but we've never played the expansion. But I really like these games. Mike, you talk about these games.
This game is an all-timer.
Mike is like loving these games right now.
This game,
Mike is like obsessed with this right now.
after a few plays, time will tell, but after a few plays, this game is a contender for the #1 game of all time. Contender for the best game ever made, okay? This game is it's so good.
It's fun,
so
man.
fun.
It's so fun to when we were playing at your place. Both of us multiple times kept being like, "God, this game is great!" Just like it's just
Such a
fun,
good game.
man. Like I don't know. This is a great game where you're taking a civilization, which is just a
It's a
faction.
sid builder, deck building game.
Yeah, completely asymmetric. All the decks are very, very different. They do play pretty darn differently in terms of like what, and it's kind of true that civilization. So Mike was playing like as Alexander the Great, the Macedonians. So he was trying to like get a bunch of regions because they like
basically
spread out to say the least.
expanding
Yes.
far and wide. So I want to have a ton of regions in play.
All that kind of stuff. It's like this cool deck builder where you're really trying to get through your deck because you have these special cards. These kind of nation cards that you are trying to get, but you get them every time you like cycle your deck, so you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of common cards and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, it's so cool to kind of so like another favorite game of mine historically is Imperial Settlers Empires of the North, which is a much lighter game compared to this, but
Yes.
like another one where you have a faction deck and you sort of have an engine that you're trying to build. And this just feels like a big brother to that where, you're the Macedonians. I'm trying to get all these region cards, but you have, every time you cycle your deck, you're essentially progressing your civilization forward. And gaining access to new cards. But then I really like that there's these common cards you can get. So like when I was playing as the Macedonians, like I developed mysticism and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool because that's like changing up the story of history. But I really like figuring out like, okay, this is how this engine works. I want to cycle my deck. I'm trying to, in this one, I want to have a really lean deck so I cycle as quick as possible. Or this one, I want to, Alexander the Great, I was putting all these regions out, then taking a lot of regions back to do these powerful things, then putting regions back out. And just figuring out the puzzle of each character and then how you blend that with those common cards, I think is super duper cool.
Yeah.
I played now from Imperium Horizons as the Mayans, which were really fun. They, of course, have a bunch of mask cards.
Yeah.
And you are using those in various ways and kind of building up, cities of, you have Chichen Itza and Tikal and stuff like that, which is really cool. I played as a Japanese. They really kind of want to have a lean, mean deck and cycle as quick as possible to get to your empire.
You're like finding cards and your things, so yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's super cool. I want to get all of the sets.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah,
them
we
all
only
in
have
one big
Horizons.
box.
Yeah.
And then just play and learn every character. Because, like, especially in Imperium Horizons, it gets really wild. Where there's, like, cultists and Martians and stuff like that. So it really gets out there. As well as, having just, actual peoples.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's so fun. It's like, to me, like, feels like the big brother of, like, Imperial Settlers.
Yeah, it's a really good comparison.
Where, it's leveled up. And now has the deck building kind of main mechanism. But,
and it's great solo. You've played it solo. I played it solo. Yeah.
Works really well. You can play against a bot that's just very easy to run. You'll play against an actual one of the other nations. Man, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's so good. I would be shocked if this is not in my top 10 of all time.
I think that's correct for you. It seems like it. Charlie asked a related question, said, isn't this what the Star Trek Captain's Chair is an adaptation of? Yes, that is true. So David Turtsey and Nigel Buckle, who made these games, also made a kind of Star Trek one where the Sith are like running around and doing crazy stuff. And
so then Dumbledore comes in.
But then Dumbledore comes in and saves the whole day. Which is great. But yes, so the Star Trek Captain's Chair is based off this where like, I think you have a different captain and the captain has their own deck. It's very asymmetric and stuff like that. I think it's the same system, but Star Trek.
Which is cool. And I don't know Star Trek really well.
I'm not a Trekkie and I really want to play it.
I really want to play it because I feel like it could be really cool.
Yeah, I really, really want to try it. And I'm not a Trekkie. So very
the Imperium games are absolutely incredible.
I'm going to play Meadow.
Yes.
For the first time, I've been wanting to play Meadow for years.
For a long time. Jimmy and I played it a couple years ago.
Yeah, and we've had it for like a year and a half now. Yeah. Captain's Chair Mo Betta. Oh, interesting. Okay. Ooh. But it's like Meadow is great. We played this with one of our Kickstarter backers chose the play game with the Murphs, and they were at Dice Tower West. We actually got to play multiple games with backers at Dice Tower West.
Yeah,
it was
really,
awesome
really
each
fun
time.
Way to do that.
But we got to play Meadow for the first time, and man, I really liked Meadow. Meadow is has the kind of quadropolis way of getting these different cards where there's these cards in a grid, and you have these kind of like I said sticks. These action markers where you basically put down a 3 and then you'll grab the third card in. Yeah. You put on a 2 over here, you'll grab the second card, and that's how you grab it, which is a great way of getting tiles or cards. And Quadropolis and Meadow use it, and no one else does. And I really wish people would do it more because it really makes you think in an interesting way. And then you're basically getting these cards, which are just like various nature cards. There's like trees and all this kind of stuff.
And then bugs and birds.
And you basically have these things where to get these cards and put them in, you have to have these various symbols. You're putting cards kind of on top of each other as you're like building up the canopy and the meadow and all this kind of stuff. It was great. It's such
a cool game.
I mean, it is unbelievably pretty. It's a really fun little puzzle, not super crazy heavy, but definitely got some stuff going on. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a really cool one where you're building this tableau of cards, and it's everything. If you're playing a bird onto one of your trees and stuff, to be able to play these cards, you have to have certain icons visible at that time. And then as you kind of create these columns of cards, you're stacking stuff on top, you're going to be covering certain icons, maybe replacing them with new ones and different ones. So you're really kind of trying to find that balance and that flow where it's like, oh, I need to have a bunch of bug symbols to be able to play these birds because essentially that's what they eat. But now this bird provides this, so maybe I can play this house card or something, you know. And so you're kind of building up, covering things, but it gives you new opportunities and going from there. It's really neat.
Yeah.
I think it's a really like neat game. Really beautiful. I've heard good things about the expansion as well. So I'm really glad I liked it again.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I've been wanting to play for years, and it lived up to it. It was great.
Right on. What's up, Reg? Says I was going to say hi, and as someone who's Puerto Rican, the fact that they included the Taino civilization makes me so happy and represented. That's in Imperium Horizons. Reg, on that note, I'm gonna make that the next faction I play.
Oh yeah? Let's go. Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
I think it's super cool. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve. What's Misty, Mike? I don't know. I like this cactus man.
It's like
this little cactus man
monster thing.
That's great. Perfect art. No notes.
Yeah, no notes. That's Misty. So this is a game where you're building out, I think, a 4x4 grid of cards. These little cards, and there are different items and stuff. And there's like Misty who eats these flowers, these cactus flowers. And you are basically going to build out your grid of cards. And then many cards have like arrows pointing left or up or down or to the right. And once you build your tableau, you then have to use those actions and they're going to go and cover up other cards in your tableau. And there's like these smiley faces. You want to have them next to each other. But if you get them covered up, then you're going to lose the access to scoring for those. Again, Misty eats these flowers. So ideally you cover up Misty so that they don't eat the flowers because flowers are worth points and stuff. So you're trying to strategically cover things up. And if I have a card that's pointed up, that thing is going to eat a flower above it, but I have a card next to it that points to the left, I can cover up the card that would move up. And then now that's no longer going to trigger and stuff. So it's kind of this like, you're building this tableau and then you are sort of programming along this side of it. And at the end of the game, all of your cards that are still visible are worth points as well and stuff. So it's this interesting little game, but you're drafting these cards.
Cool.
So you're looking for the ones that are worth points. You're trying to put stuff in a way so that you don't undo the kind of setup you have.
Yeah.
It was a cute little game. It was tougher than I thought. I was like, man, I am not very good at this. But
good to know.
It was a cute game. The art is like, adorable. It's all kind of like little sketchy things like that. It was good. It was a good little game. For sure. What up, Jen? How you doing?
You played My Shelf with the Dice game.
I sure did play this with Karen.
Legitimately didn't even know this game existed.
Yeah.
Until you played it.
Yeah. I sure did. I picked it up recently. I'd heard about it and I was curious. I was like, what is this going to be? My Shelfie is a game where you're dropping in these various items, kind of Connect Four style, to create these shelves of like books and board games and trophies and things. And you kind of get to do that here. We're going to be rolling dice, and you have Yahtzee style where you can kind of set some aside and roll two more times if you want. And then you're going to choose one of the types of things you roll, because each shelf is kind of pre-built. And each, I think, row is all the same type of item. And what you can do is if I roll like 4 cats, I'm going to fill in the 4th column of the cat row. So obviously it's harder to get further to the right on your shelves because you have to roll the same icon, but again, you can kind of Yahtzee style it. And you're trying to complete rows, you're trying to complete columns of stuff. And as you complete these rows and columns, it actually locks it out for the rest of the people who haven't completed that. So you can kind of mess with each other. And you're trying to get big groups of the same kind of thing done. So it kind of it's definitely a different game than My Shelfie, for sure, but kind of keeps the same theme. And I actually kind of liked the Yahtzee mechanism of like, you know, you could possibly, if I have a 3 and a 2 of 2 different things, you know, I could possibly fill in 2 things on my shelves at once, but you're kind of balancing like things to the further to the right that would require more dice are obviously more valuable. So you're kind of trying to kind of manage that. But if you get kind of locked out from a row, then you can lose access to scoring. So it can be a little bit mean. Yeah. It can be a little bit spicy. A little spice. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Nice little rolling right to dry erase boards and stuff. And yeah, it was nice.
Cool. Sweet. I played Nanitori Dory.
Yeah.
Honestly, I played this quickly, and it's like a set collection game, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember quite much. I played it with my friend Julie real quick, and then I honestly was putting this in there, and I was like, I don't entirely remember. I know there's birds. Yeah. And that's kind of all I remember.
You're kind of putting down, I think, all cards of the same number.
Oh, no, it's like a shedding game.
It kind of has the Odin thing. Yeah, it's a shedding game where you can potentially pick up cards that other people play. And
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
shedding game.
It's kind of like a shedding game where, it's like I believe you can't rearrange your deck, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a scout where so you
scoutish.
get what you have. That's right. That's what it is. So so you get what you have, and then you can't rearrange your deck, and you're playing out these cards. But you can also like when you beat someone's stuff, you can pick up their cards.
Yeah.
If you can't play, you can like draw a card and kind of put it wherever you want, so you can kind of arrange it. Kind of, it's a similar situation where you can't shuffle your deck like Scout. I remember really enjoying it, but it was kind of like a quick game we played really, really quickly. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a simpler Scout in a way because it's like you can play all sets of like one number down. That are next to each other in your hand. So it has kind of that scoutness, but not as much different things going on. But I enjoyed it when I played it too. I played it on BGA.
Yeah.
It works well.
It was good.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying it.
Yeah.
I played Nikosu Dice. Shout out to Steve in chat. Nikosu Dice is a kind of a wild trick-taking game where it's a trick-taking game where you have both cards and dice.
I'm so curious about this one.
It's weird. So basically, you have your hand of cards. You're playing kind of trick taking, and then you're gonna roll all these dice, and then everyone's gonna be drafting these dice out. They have different colors and they have different numbers. And then basically, whatever die is, there's always one more die than there are players because you're drafting like 5 or 6 dice. You're drafting a lot of them. There's always gonna be one die left over, and then that's gonna be like the rocket card. That's gonna be like the Trump suit, right? So if it's like a red 1. That means red is kind of like the rocket suit, and then 1 is also kind of like the rocket number. So it's this game, then you're playing out tricks, and it's got a lot of stuff going on because you're playing out tricks, and then every trick you win is going to be a point. But then at the end of the round, you will have 1 die left over, and that's your bid to how many tricks you think you're going to win.
Right.
So basically, you'll have 1 die left over after all the ones you draft. If it's like a 3, I need to then try to win 3 tricks because then otherwise, the only points you're getting are the tricks that you win. Because when you're playing out these tricks, you can play a card or one of your dice. So if someone plays like greens and I have a green 6, I can be like, boom. So it's hard to pay attention to everything because you're like paying attention to people's cards, but you also like, oh, they have dice too.
Yeah, you never know when they're going to play those.
So you can play out their dice, yeah. And then the scoring is like bananas because basically, sure, you get points for your tricks, but you get very little points ultimately because if you hit your goal, your like bid of how many tricks you think you're going to win, you then get a ton of points.
Yeah,
if you're
like 20 or 30.
Well, it's like if you're the only person who hits their goal, say in a 4-player game, if you're the only person who hit their bid, you get 30 points.
Yeah, it's just like.
If there's 2 people who hit their bid, they each get 20 points. If 3 people hit their bid, everyone gets 10 points. If 4 people hit their bid, no one gets any points. So it's like this weird thing where it's like you want to hit your bid, but you also want to be the only person who hits your bid. It's wild. It was super good. The first round of it, I really didn't like it because I was just like, there's too much to pay attention to because it kept being like, oh, I'm guaranteeing to win this. Someone to play their die. I'm like, God, I forgot to look at their dice. Crap. And so like it took me a second to get into it because it's like 3 rounds long. But then once the second round and further, I was like all in. It's super good. Nikosu Dice is dumb good. If you like trick takers, kind of heavier ones that have a lot going on, make sure to check out Nikosu Dice. It's incredible.
Cool.
Really,
I'm
really
so
incredible.
Curious about it. You've explained it a few times to me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's bananas, but there's a lot going on. It's very, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. We got to play Odin. We played this before we went to a little steakhouse. Remind me what we're doing in Odin? I remember loving it.
It's a card shedding game where you are playing cards out from your hand, and when you play cards, you can either play all the same suit, so the same color, or you can play all the same number.
Yeah.
And then
That's right. Yeah.
There's kind of a staged cadence to it where if I'm leading off a round, I can play 1 card from my hand. Then the next player can play 1 or 2 cards. Again, following those rules of same suit or same number. And if you're playing multiple cards, the numbers you play, you'll play kind of high number to low, unless they're all the same number. And that creates the value. So if I have like 3 oranges, I have a 7, a 4, and a 1, I'm playing 741. And you have to then play something higher than that. Either by playing 3 cards that create a higher combined value or 4 cards.
Right.
But every time you play a card, or cards down, you have to pick up one of the cards that the person before you played and put it back in your hand. So you are strategically trying to play, because you need to pick something up, and I need to pick something up that's either the suit that I already have or a number I have so I can make something powerful, because the worst thing you could do is get stuck with like 1 card. It's going to be very hard to go out. and you're trying to kind of, play and draft these cards, and you want to ideally be the first one to go out.
Yeah.
In a round, and you can pass if you can't beat it or simply don't want to, because there could be a situation where it's like, I could play something, but this card's going to mess me up if I pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pass.
Yeah.
But at the end of the round, once someone goes out, players who have cards left in their hand, those are negative points, and you'll play like from 15, and you basically just don't, every card you have will lose you a life, essentially. And you wait until someone's been knocked out, then the player with the most points left still
Yeah, we were playing
wins.
at a Starbucks while we were waiting to go to dinner, and I remember really, really liking it.
It's great.
All these card games start to mold together in my mind, but I was like, oh, that's right, this game is super, super fun. We had a really good time playing it. I liked Odin a lot. I remember it. Don't worry about it.
It's great. It's a fantastic game. Highly recommend.
Oh. You played Oriflamme.
Oriflamme. This is a kind of like a secret role.
We have this game. I know that.
We do have it.
I think Hachette sent it to us. Yeah.
Looked it up. I was like, how's this game playing? I was playing on Board Game Arena with Matthew and Paula. This is a game where it's like everyone has the same characters, and you're playing cards, and so you're kind of, depending on which character you're playing, want to be like the only one playing this character. Right. You can kind of assassinate other characters, and you're doing this stuff to kind of earn as much, I think, money. By the end of the game. It's fairly quick. It's like 6 turns or something like that. And you're playing these characters. You can either play them face up or face down. You play them face down, they start accumulating money until you reveal them. But then people can be like, I think it's going to be this one character, so I'm going to put my assassin out, and I can assassinate a card to the left or the right of this card. So it's all spatial, like where things are placed. And when you place cards out, you can place them on one of the ends. So a lot of things are kind of conditional, so you kind of want this to be flipped over early or what have you. It was an interesting game. It's kind of like a Libertalia or, a King of 12, anything where you're like, I think they're going to play this card right now, so I'm not going to hold on to mine and play it later. You're kind of doing that mind game stuff.
Yeah,
so,
cool. Love it. It's cool. Awesome. You got to play Potions of Azurland.
I sure did. I played some Board Game Arena.
Azurland, more like.
I'm not going to lie, Nick.
What?
I was clicking around.
you have any idea what's going on?
No.
Lots of drugs and stuff?
So this is, you're making potions. You're going out and like foraging ingredients and making potions and ultimately fulfilling kind of contracts. You have these characters and stuff that want these potions, and you're trying to do this for points. I won. I don't really know
Hey,
how.
let's go.
So this is one I have to play again. This is not a true review because
Right.
I kept being like, oh yeah, I'll read the rules. I'm like, oh, let's click around for one more turn. Oh yeah, I'll read the rules. And I never got around to it. But yeah, you're foraging, brewing potions.
Right.
You can drink the potions for abilities and stuff.
That's
or
all I'd
you
ever
can,
do. I would just drink them all.
Turn them in and stuff to get your main hit of points. You're kind of balancing that. It's like, I don't want to. I need to get some points for this and stuff. But yeah, so I want to play it again. Because I like the art and the world and stuff is cute, but I need to really figure out what's going on because I don't know.
Fair. Very fair. No idea.
I did win, and that's cool.
That is good. You played
Regicide, man.
This is like the
wanted to try
prequel
this.
to Witchcraft, right?
I don't know.
I think it's something else. Am I thinking something else?
You might be. This is a card game that's played with a standard deck of cards.
Okay, then I think I'm wrong. I'm thinking about something else. What's the prequel to Witchcraft?
Resist.
Resist. That's what it is. Okay, yes.
This is
Regicide
Regicide.
is played with a normal deck of cards. Yes.
Normal deck of cards, or you can buy this and stuff. This is a really interesting game. It's really hard, where you are basically playing out these cards to try to take down the face cards. You have the jacks, queens, and kings.
Oh, it makes it for Regicide, right? You're trying to kill them in nobility, right?
Yeah, and in order. So you'll be dealing with the 4 jacks first, and the 4 queens, and the kings. You don't know which one will come up, and you're going to be playing out the other cards in the deck, which are going to attack for their value. So a 9 will do like 9 damage, for example. But each of the 4 suits have an ability when you play them. So like the spades, for example, will reduce the attack value of whoever you're fighting. So because they're going to be hitting you back. And if you get hit back for like 5, I have to get rid of 5 worth of value from my hand.
Interesting.
And if you ever run out of cards and stuff, then you're dead. So you're doing that. The diamond cards allow you to draw more cards from the deck. The heart cards allow you to take your discard pile and shuffle it back into your draw deck. And the clubs do double damage, essentially. It's super duper cool.
Yeah, I've heard it's really
I've
good.
always heard good things about this. It's really interesting. It's very difficult because the jacks, I think, have 20 health and do 10 attack. Then the queens they have 30 health and do 15 attack. The kings are 40 and 20. So it just gets to be so brutal. And on top of that, whatever suit the face card you're fighting is, it negates that ability.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So if I'm fighting against the spade, I can't use the spade abilities to reduce their attack.
Interesting.
It's really cool. I want to pick this up.
Yeah.
Again, you could just play it with a deck of cards. It's so dope.
That's
it's like
cool.
Regicide Legacy and stuff. And I'm like, I've always heard good things about it. It is so good. It's so hard. I've not won. I've gotten to the Kings a couple times, but I've not made it.
Yeah.
It's really, really good, man. It's a really cool game.
Cool.
Yeah, there's the aces are animal companions, so you can pair that with another card. So if I had like a 9 and an ace, I have 10 total value, and if they're 2 different suits, you do both of their powers and stuff. So there's like little cool things like that. Super cool game, man.
Cool.
Super cool game.
That sounds radical. That sounds tubular. I got to play Rise and Fall.
You did get to play it. Cool.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we played it like the last, like at night. He's like, can we play this? Because I lugged this all the way here. So our good friends Nate and Cindy, Sass Queen in chat, and then Visher, came and stayed with me for a last week.
That was so freaking fun, dude.
It was great. We had such a good time. Played a whole bunch of different games. But we played Rise and Fall. This is a game that I think Visher had to get, like, import in from. I don't know. I don't think this is like available in the U.S., but it's ultimately a relatively simple, kind of like area control-y type game where you have a couple different units. You have like nomads, which are kind of like these like donkeys pulling wagons, basically. You have like cities, and you have like boats, and they all can kind of work in different ways. So each round, everyone is going to choose one of their kind of like units that they're going to activate, and you flip it over, and then first player will activate all of the units. You'll activate like all of your boats or all of your nomads or all of your cities. And they all kind of do different things, where like the boats can like move around the water areas and then turn into a nomad like on the land, or turn into a city or something like that. Your city can spawn more nomads and kind of have them move around. Your nomads can, move around. They can then turn into a boat if they're next to water or something like that. So you're basically trying to like spread out, end up on these different areas. There's certain, because you build out the board every round. So there's like all these water boards. On the top of the water boards, you place all the plains.
Stacks up and stuff.
Yeah, you place all the plains, and then you place like the mountains, and you place like the glaciers above that. So there's certain things that can only go up to certain, like only one unit can go onto the glaciers and stuff like that. It's just kind of positioning and stuff, and you're basically trying to score these points. Basically, there's like these kind of objectives, and a lot of the times the objectives are to have basically to have all of one type of your unit out on the board. So if you ever get like all of your nomads out on the board, of which you have like 10, you basically get to score these points, which I guess is like money or whatever. But then you have to like everyone's empire, after something gets scored, goes into decline, and you basically have to take one of your units and basically get rid of them, and then you can then buy them back, but you're buying them back with points. So, and then each of the units also has a ways to generate points. So there's also like these traders. And these traders, when you activate them, you can choose this one to like, I'm gonna activate this one for money. And then basically, if they're within like 2 of a city, they'll get like $5. But if they're 2 within an opponent's city, they get like $7, something like that, right?
Okay.
And you're basically just trying to accumulate money. It's really, really interesting. It's super cool. It plays like pretty quick.
That's the thing I was like shocked. There's this big box. And
Yes.
it said like an hour or something. I was like, is this really like short? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
It's pretty quick.
It looks physically so large.
Yeah, and it is. And the production value is like super wild. It's super cool. But again, you're also building the board. So basically, when you build the board, like I place a piece, you place a piece. You're building it, and that'll like massively change the game up because of like where it is. Like we didn't really have
because you might want it built a certain way for
yeah.
what you're trying to do.
Or ours, we had a bunch of little waterways, but no like big waterways. So boats weren't like quite as useful in this one because they kind of could only stay in their own little waterway. So it can massively change the game. It was very cool. It was good. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very, very cool. And yeah, it was fun.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can pull some shifty stuff and be pretty mean and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So that was Rise and Fall. You got to play Rococo Deluxe. We played Rococo multiple times, but you got to play the deluxe version.
I haven't played the deluxe version. This is another game that we played with backers of our Kickstarter, so thank you for that. And they wanted to play Rococo. They had the deluxe version in the library
Yes, they did.
at Dice Tower West. And
we're like, yeah, Mike hasn't played that one.
Man.
The deluxe one is nice, isn't it?
The deluxe one's really nice.
The old one it's the exact same game.
Same. There's
nothing different.
I can't remember. There's like one difference. There's a score track.
Yes.
Because you can score some in-game points, and the only difference is now there's a score track along the top of the board versus these horrible chits.
Horrible chits.
And that was just a nice change.
Some of the worst
because
in the
it's just
game.
like, why do these exist? Man, the new one is nice, though. It's really nice. Everything is really beautiful. The components are fantastic. And I did like playing with the nice stuff.
Yeah, it was nice.
Not gonna lie, I liked it. Rococo is still fantastic. Such a good game. Such a good game.
Yeah.
Played a fantastic 4-player game of it, so we were really all jockeying for position in the rooms, and Nick kept making the dresses I wanted to make and, and getting in each other's way. It's such a good game. So, yeah, just a all-time classic.
Banger.
This new edition it's fantastic.
Very nice, yeah.
Highly recommend that. Love Rococo,
It be pretty.
as always.
We got to play Scales of Fate. We just did a playthrough of this. This is the 2-player kind of version of Veiled Fate world. Yeah, there's Clar and Sigari and stuff. So you have these demigods, and each person is given 2 of them. You could have the same people, and you're basically trying to move your demigod up this track and hopefully move the other one down the track, because at the end of the game, your biggest hits of points is going to be basically the difference between your 2 demis on the renown track. Or if they're both in the same spot, let's say they're both on 8, you will then score 8 points. But that's kind of risky, because if they're 1 away from each other, you're going to get 1 point.
Yeah, it's risk reward for sure.
So it's pretty risky. And so you're placing the demigods out onto these action spots, which will basically manipulate a whole bunch of different stuff. You can get the servants that you can get like in the Veiled Fate expansions, like Vesper and stuff like that. And then basically you're doing all these actions to mostly increase the renown of some demis, decrease the renown of other ones. You can send people to the Abyss, which could be increase or decrease them. And you're kind of trying to figure out who the other people are. Because Mike's like, Mike keeps pushing up orange, orange, orange. He must be orange, but you might be bluffing. But kind of like Veiled Fate, this is one of those games where it's like, if the other person knows who you are, it's not the end of the world.
No.
Like, it doesn't mean you lose.
They can, in theory, mess with your renown a little more, so it's like not ideal, but it's not, the end game is not to figure out who they are. It's just you can score some points by doing it, so it's definitely nice.
And it's nice that you can be the same demigods, because it makes it way easier to bluff. Because say Mike was orange and I couldn't be orange, and I was pushing up orange as a bluff, Mike could be like, well, I know it's not orange. Because, so in this case, you could be like, well, it could be orange, and you're just like, oh man,
but does that mean that's them?
I really liked it.
I really liked it
as well, man. I think it's great.
The production is fantastic.
It's ridiculous.
It's so
IB
nice.
Studios is so ridiculous.
That's just par for the course for them. But it's really cool. It's super quick.
Yes, it's like 20 minutes.
There is like some ability to trick. You were very good at kind of and deking me out and having me kind of fall for your bluffs. It's kind of like chess-like in that you're placing strategically around. You're doing these quest placing servants to kind of trigger the quests, all the dark quests or the light quests and stuff. There's like neat little things you can do in a very quick game in a cool universe. I really dug the 2-player version of this a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is super cool.
Yeah, really liked it.
Just like what you're doing, and it's fast.
Yeah,
really
it's
fast.
Quick and fast. It's really, really good. I liked it a lot. We got to play Schadenfreude. This is kind of like a hot trick-taking game right now. I feel like a bunch of people are talking about this.
Yeah, this is a trick-taking game where you are...
You're trying to score, but you can't score too much, because if you kind of overshoot the score, you immediately lose.
Yeah, and you're going to win tricks by being the second highest.
Yes.
If you have the second strongest card, you actually win. So you don't want to, you're trying to take down the leader, the person at the top. And you have kind of 2 goals. You have a goal of getting to exactly 40 points, which I did. Exactly 40 points to win instantly. Or if you get someone to overshoot the end of the track and go beyond 40, they are out. And then the next highest player on the score track is the winner.
Yes.
So you need to get up on that track. You need to get toward the end and have a bunch of points. But if you get into the 30s, now you have to be careful and not win too many.
Yeah.
Because you don't want...
Because when you win tricks, you keep... Is it your card or the highest card?
You keep the card you play.
You keep the card you played, and then that's what gives you points. So if I won with an 8, you're going to get 8 points. But then if you get 2 8s, they cancel each other out and they go away.
Yeah.
So again, as you're getting closer, you're actively not trying to win. Or if you are winning, you are trying to get matches so that you can get rid of them. And so also, it's one of the things, kind of like the Schadenfreude thing, where it's like, if you see like Mike is like 5 points away, you're just trying to chuck heavy cards at him.
If you throw off suit and I win, I collect my card and any cards that were off suit.
Sure, so enjoy this 9.
You can flood people with cards.
Really
or
cool.
Give them a second of the same number to negate certain stuff. So it's just very messing with each other kind of stuff. It's really, really fun. It was
really
a cool
fun
game. Really
I liked it.
And the fact that I got on 40 was nice.
It was good. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
We played Schrodinger's Cats.
We sure did. This was on Board Game Arena. We were playing with some Kickstarter backers, and we ended the game with this. This is like kind of like a liar's dice situation where you're bidding how many. There's all these cards, and you're playing them. I think face down.
Some of them face up or something like that. You can,
And it's either alive cats, dead cats, or cats in a box.
Yeah.
They're either alive or dead, or there's like empty boxes. You're trying to say like, I'll bet you we have 5 alive cats.
Yeah.
And then you can either increase the bid or call them out and stuff. And of course, you have some amount of cards, so you can see like, well, I've got 4 alive cats, so 5 is not that scary, but I'd say 7. And you're kind of just trying to stay alive because if you end up missing or getting outed, you get knocked out of the game.
Which is what happened. I was like,
silly.
I was like, there's not 7 cats here, and there was, and I immediately lost.
Yeah, and every player has like a little one-time use power and stuff. It's a very silly end of night kind of game, but it was fun.
It was fun.
With a bit of a morbid theme with there are just dead cats in boxes, but that's Schrodinger's cat. That's the whole principle of that thought experiment. So.
Yeah, so it's a weird little game, but it was fun. I liked it. Yeah. It's a good end of night game, right?
Kind of a liar's dice skulls situation.
I gotta play Skyrise. We've had Skyrise for a minute now.
Yeah.
This is an interesting game. This is based, I think it's a game called Metropolis, Visual was saying. But it's got the same bidding mechanic in there, and it's the same bidding mechanic that's in Nocturne, which is a game we really, really like. Where this is a game where you're like building these Skyrise buildings in the sky for reasons probably.
Cloud City stuff.
And basically like someone will bid, whoever's the first player will bid on a region of the board, and they're bidding with like their little building of all these taller buildings, and they also have numbers on them. So then the next person can outbid you. They have to outbid you with a higher number or a higher building, and the higher buildings will be higher numbers. But they can't bid on the spot you place. They can only bid on a spot that is adjacent to it.
Right.
And then say they outbid you, the next person can then outbid that one. But again, they have to outbid adjacent to that spot. And so you're kind of moving down. And I really, really like that kind of bidding mechanic. I really love it in Nocturne because you can also work in a corner where like literally no one can outbid you because there's no adjacent spots that are free. So you can kind of get free ones like that. And then again, you have these buildings and they have various values on them. So like you're like, I really want this one. Screw it. I'm gonna use my big building that I know no one can beat. But then that building is out there for the rest of the game kind of thing. And you're basically, you have a public goal that you're kind of going for. Like I wanted to be on a bunch of like yellow districts. There are like some public things that you're going for. That you want to be like next to various certain things. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. It's really simple. Like there's not a lot going on. It's a cool fun because I like that kind of bidding, that kind of like, oh, is this worth me? Screw it, we'll throw a big one down there. It's really, really fun. I'll tell you right now, I do not need the crazy deluxe version because like the base game version still has really nice like wooden buildings. The super deluxe version is like insane. Like all the buildings are unique. I'll tell you, this is a pretty kind of light game. It's kind of the Foundations of Rome where I'm just like, this is a lot for a game of this weight.
The version we have where the wooden things still look
nice.
It's
really
nice.
nice.
Look like cheap or anything.
No,
so
it's really, really nice.
It's easier to play with this version than the super crazy version.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I don't know how much legs it would have for me ultimately, but I thought it was cool.
Cool.
And I think you would like it. We'll try it because I think it was good times.
Nice.
Yeah. We played Steech first Steech.
Steech first Steech. I brought this to Dice Tower West and showed you, and we played with Dan, I think, right?
Yeah, we played Dan,
Yeah. So this is, again, kind of Clue, where it's
with
a whodunit with trick-taking. So what'd you think? It
was cool. So this is a game where you are doing trick-taking. There's one person who's like the seer or the knower or whatever.
Everyone will be the knower once.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they know that there's an assailant, the person who killed, there's a location, and then there is a murder weapon, right? So
it's person, weapon, and then value of card is the...
Oh, yeah, sorry. There's no location. But nonetheless, people play out tricks, and you're just playing out cards, and then the knower will basically tell everyone who won. So like this person won. Because again, like the person is the highest value, right?
Yeah, the assailant's the highest value.
The weapon, second highest, and the value of card.
Yeah.
So then you go like, Mike won. And then everyone goes, okay, I wonder what Mike won. Mike played this card. Okay, so then you take the cards, you're trying to remember that, and then you play out another trick, and they go, Jimmy won. And you're like, okay, maybe they each play the same person. So maybe that's the killer. And there's all these different things that kind of go off like that. And it's fun. It's the deduction is not particularly difficult.
Yep.
Everyone can figure it out. And so
you're making guesses after each hand.
You're like,
every each card is played, you'll make a guess, like, is it this?
Yeah.
And then the knower is also playing tricks. And you're trying to basically, ideally, have it be that it takes as long as possible for your opponents to guess it. But if they guess it the earlier, the better. They get more points for how many cards they have left in hand. The knower gets points for how long it takes for everybody to guess it.
Yeah.
But then also just winning tricks is points. So once everyone knows,
you're just trying to win tricks.
Then it's still fun to play because you are trying to now win tricks, knowing the various kind of like, tie breaks essentially. So I quite enjoyed it.
It was good. I thought it was very fun. It's a really cool concept.
Fun gimmick for sure.
Yeah. You gotta play Superstore 3000.
Superstore 3000.
What is
This is a board game arena play where you're kind of making a mall and you're getting different like types of departments and stuff, and you're kind of stacking them up and getting. You're kind of set collecting, I guess, with different colors of different types. You're getting these like, I got a bowling alley and stuff to get points and everything. It's sort of has the kind of like a small world where it's like the bottom two things on offer are free, but you can pay money to take higher up on the chain, and you can kind of manage your money and stuff and build these things. Cool. And I don't know, it's just clicking around a little bit. But yeah, that's cool. Build some cool stuff.
Downsies.
Yeah, you're making like a mall.
I'm gonna play TAC. We picked up TAC at Dice Tower West. We played a quick game, played with our friend Julie. Because we got to pick up this game and talk to the designer who had done like a designer diary on it. You really liked that, so you've been wanting to pick it up.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to talk to them. I didn't know they'd be there. So I said, hey, like your designer diary was super cool and be on Board Game Geek, and they gave us a copy of TAC, which was super cool. But this is a game that's kind of meant to be played like on a little coffee table. Like you want to be playing like over coffee, something really small. And it's this kind of like dice pushing game essentially, where each person has like their dice on their side of the board, and basically you can like push them forward as on your turn, and basically there are certain values that you're trying to get to in the various columns, and you can use your dice and other people's dice, and then you do that, you basically I think score, or you get to take your dice back or something like that. And then there are various powers that you can play with in the game, which I would suggest to do, where you can essentially manipulate it, where it's like, oh, if you're like have two of your things next to it, they can then like switch rows and stuff like that, because you're rolling out these dice. It's really cool. It's a great little like tiny game that you can play like on a coffee table. It's kind of like, oh, you're sipping coffee and kind of playing. It's a little bit in your face, but not like super, super mean or anything like that. Me and Julie played a quick game after playing Nanitori Dory as we were waiting for people to kind of finish up their game, and it was a great little thing, and it was really cool to talk to the designer and stuff like that. Yeah, it's super cool. I want to play it.
It's a little two-player game.
She and I can get into it.
Yeah, I think you two would like it. Just sit there, boop, boop, boop. It's great.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I'm going to play Torchlit. So this is another game I played with Amy and Maggie and the Joey fam. But this is another trick-taking game, another kind of weird trick-taking game where you are going to be... this is a game where you are... there's essentially kind of like a dungeon, I guess. Numbered like 1 through 7, I think, is the value of the cards. And you have your little meeple at the end of it. And then as you're playing out these tricks... you have to follow suit, and then basically, I believe whatever card it is that you play, you're then going to move your person forward into the dungeon, and then the person who won the trick is to take the cards and kind of be the person leading, but then the person, I believe, who lost the trick, like the most, they essentially get to assign the cards, or maybe it's the person who wins the trick is assign the cards. Basically, cards get assigned to these various areas. So like the 3s go here to the 3 spot, and so basically each spot of this dungeon starts to get more and more valuable. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to land your meeple in a spot where it's going to be the most valuable. But you also want to be the only person there, because if there are more than one people there, you're essentially going to take that value and then divide it by the people
split
there.
the loot, right? Yeah.
But then you're also trying to bid on where you think you're going to end up in the dungeon, which seems to be a very common thing in trick taking now, where you're like, I think I'm going to win this many tricks or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very fun. It was very cool. It's a kind of situation where whatever your last card is, that's the card you're bidding with in terms like that's what you're trying to. So you're also trying to be like, okay, maybe I should keep this 5 because I think I can get to 5 kind of thing. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it's kind of that kind of Nikosu Dice where it's like it's a trick taker with like kind of a lot more going on and more to kind of pay attention to. It's not just straight up trick taking, but it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and you're kind of just making your way down this dungeon. It's a good time.
Sounds like a cool thing.
I think you'd really enjoy it. It's cool.
Check it out. Where that though?
We're gonna play Unconscious Mind.
Yeah. You'd pllayed this.
Me and Vischer played this at my place. Yeah.
Yeah, we covered it. I think 8 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like 8 years ago. It had been a very long time. Essentially, it was a new game, which is why we put it here. And yeah, I really liked it. I liked it a lot, actually, kind of more than I was expecting to. This is a game where you are psychologists kind of following after Freud in that time, and it's got this really cool duality where like all the stuff in the real world is done by Vincent Dutrait, and then everything in these dream cards is done by Andrew Bosley, who has much more of like a whimsical style. It's a very cool mixing of art styles.
It's a really neat thing they did.
Really, really cool. But basically, you're getting these patients. These patients have a ton of like grief on them, and then they have these like dream cards. You're basically trying to interpret those, and basically what you're trying to get these various resources on this specific spot on this wheel, and then you can turn those in to get rid of the dream cards. And you're basically curing them and healing them as they go. And once they're fully healed, then you'll get to collect them and they will give you points and such. And then there's kind of like not so serious clients and then like more kind of traumatic clients, stuff like that. The not so serious ones will give you like in-game abilities. And then the more serious clients will give you like end-game scoring stuff.
That's cool.
It's really, really cool. It's got this really nice action selection system. My problem with Unconscious Mind is the same as it was when we played it years ago, was like I just feel like there's too much in the base game. I think it's really, really fun. I really like it. I really want to keep playing it. But there's just like, there's the action selection system, and then there's like the healing the patient system. And I feel like that should have been the base game. Because there's this whole location board where your like little psychologist is like moving around these locations, and you can basically activate those locations and kind of do similar stuff you can do in the action spot. And then there's this whole like publication part where you're getting these books and you're getting symbols through various things, and you can basically turn in these books to like publish them. You can use like other people's books. It's one of those things where I'm like, this, especially like the publication bot, should have been an expansion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there is no reason that game needed to be in the base game. Like, it's just like this thing that feels very tacked on. Even the location part, I'm like, I don't even think you need that, because like the other part of the game is super interesting and it's one of my favorite themes. I think it's such a cool theme. And I just think the base game has way too much going on. I still think it's really, really fun. I still want to keep playing it. I really enjoyed it still. But I think like the whole publication thing needed to be an expansion. I also think like the location thing maybe could have been there, but also I feel like probably could have been an expansion. So I still really enjoy it. I just think there's a lot of extra stuff in here that frankly should have been expansions.
There you go.
So that's kind of how I feel. But no, I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I really, really liked it. But it's got a little too much going on in my opinion.
Sure.
I didn't play Unstoppable, so I did a solo stream of this on Friday, so a couple days ago, and this is a solo game from Sir John D. Clare in Renegade Games' Solo Hero series. So like Kane Clango did the first one, Scott Alms has done one of them, John D. Clare now has done one of them. This is a deck building card crafting game.
Yeah.
That is super fun. I really, really like it.
Really want to try
this one. It's incredible. I think it's so much fun. So basically you have some kind of boss you're going up against, and you have these cards that you will play out, and then on the backside of each card, because all the cards are sleeved, there's going to be a threat card. And then that threat card, after you play your cards, will go to your discard pile, but then you'll shuffle them, and they'll go into your threat deck. So all these threats are going to come through, and this is a game where it's a deck building game, but there's like no native card drawing. So it's not like at the beginning of your turn, you draw 5 cards. Every single round, you'll get a new card that's going to be kind of a more powerful card, but that's the only inherent card draw that you get to do. Right. The way you get to draw cards is by defeating enemies, because again, on the backside of every threat card is another one of your cards. They're all kind of double-sided like that. So when you defeat an enemy, that card then flips over and comes into your hand. So that's how you get your cards. So it's this really tough balancing mechanism of like, you need to be defeating enemies. One, because they're also, at the end of the round, if you haven't defeated them, they're going to hit you. They're going to attack you.
They must damage you, right? Yeah.
They're going to attack you. So you need to get rid of them for that reason, but it's also the way you get the cards into your hands. And it's also nice that like on the backside, they're called core cards. Your cards are slightly bigger than the threat cards, and on the backside it shows what they are. You can also look at them, so it's not blind. You're not like attacking enemies going, hope this is a really good card on the other side.
I was going to ask.
You get to know what's on the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
Because again, it shows it on the back of the card, but you can also just flip it over and look at it if you want to. So you can be like, ooh, I'm going to attack this one first because that's going to give me one of my really good cards.
Cool.
And then I can use that here. It's really, really good. And then you have credits in the game and this kind of money, and you use that to buy upgrades because all the cards have these kind of like cutouts in it like that. Because each card can have 2 upgrades. There's a top upgrade and a bottom upgrade, which will like deal more damage, give you more action points, because the action points are how you play cards. You can get more action points, you can get more credits, you can do various different things. You can like kill cards out of your hand, all these different kinds of things. But the cool thing is a lot of the upgrades, but particularly the really strong upgrades, give the threat an upgrade as well. So you're like, oh, this is gonna give me an upgrade. It's really, really good, but it's also gonna make them hit harder. So there's like a couple cards where I'm like, this is a really good card for me, but when this is on the threat side, it's gonna suck. Because they're gonna have like way more health and they're gonna have, I thought it was crazy fun. I got wrecked. I keep getting wrecked in this game, but I'm getting better. I think this game is a masterpiece. I think it's so much fun. And I think there's expansions for it. I really want to get them because I'm like, just give me more cards, give me more bosses, give me more stuff. It's really, really rad. I think you're going to really like it.
Okay, all right.
I really, really. Sir John D does it again.
I'm intrigued.
You played Welcome to the Moon.
I did. I played just the...
Oh, guys, stop it.
All
right, you played Welcome to the Moon, and then I played Yinch.
Okay, so Welcome to the Moon is kind of like a campaign game based on Welcome to, where you sort of have these cards you're going to be flipping over. You have 3 to choose from that are going to give you values, and then in this one, at least in the first, I only played the first kind of mission, where you're trying to launch your rocket. It's going to give you an area, a section of your ship where you can fill in, and you are trying to fill in on a whole row. There might be like 2 or 3 sections. You're trying to fill little sections to get these bonuses and ultimately complete these rows of rockets. You want to cross off full rows because each row you complete will be more and more points for you to get. It was interesting. There's as you complete sections, you might get like the ability to cross off any one area, so you can definitely chain some stuff together. It's something that like I need to play more to try to figure out like how do I, because the first game was horrible, I played terribly, and the second game I did better, but I'm still trying to figure out like how do I get the combo to pop off? But I've really enjoyed it, and this one I think is like 8 or 9. It's a campaign you go through, which is really cool. So I would like to like get this and play through it sometime. But so far I've only played that initial mission a couple times, but it's been good, but it's challenging. I'm like, God, how do I do this? But it's the same kind of Welcome to. You have to have like ascending numbers within the same row and everything, so it has a lot of that DNA, but definitely a different experience, which was cool. So yeah, I want to play more. How'd you like Yinch?
I liked Yinch. Yinch was good. Yinch was great. This is a kind of classic 2-player abstract strategy game in the GIF series. It's the most famous of the GIF series, but there's a couple more like Link and Devon and stuff like that. But this is widely considered to be the best one, and it's very, very good. Me and Jimmy played it at the end of a little game day. And yeah, it's this interesting game where you have these black and white rings. So one player is white, one player is black. They kind of look like cookies and cream. I like the way they look. They're very acrylic and click-clacky. They're great.
Yeah.
And basically what it is on your turn, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get, you have your black and white pieces, kind of like this solid pieces. You're trying to get 5 of those in a row. Whenever you get 5 in a row, you basically, those get taken off the board and then you lose a ring. You're basically trying to lose all 3 of your rings. Also, when you lose a ring though, you're technically at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah.
But
you have
usually
5 rings, you're trying to score 3.
That's what it is, or something like that.
But you're hampering yourself.
Yeah, but you're hampering yourself, but the other person will score 1 and then you kind of even out. But so it's a game where on your turn, you will place one of these solid pieces of your color in one of your rings, and then you will move your ring kind of as far as you want to or as far as you can. Because if you hit another ring, you then have to stop. And then any of these pieces that you cross over, like this white piece right here, they will then flip over. So if you cross over like 3 black pieces, 1 white piece, you'll flip the 3 black pieces to the white side and the 1 white piece to its black side. So that's how you're going to try and get these various things in a line of 5. You place one down your ring, then move your ring, flip over anything you can. So because the rings block each other, you're trying to get in each other's way. You're trying to set stuff up for you, like hopefully multiple turns down the line. Like, I'm gonna flip this one over later, and then we're gonna try and flip these ones, and hopefully I can do this whole thing to kind of flip the whole thing. It's very, very tactical, very back and forth. You're getting each other's way. It's really, really good. I'll never love abstract strategy games like this that much because they're just not really my kind of game. But as far as abstract strategy games go, this one is a masterpiece. There's a reason why Yinch is considered to be one of the best abstract strategy games ever made, because it's outstanding. It's so simple. You can teach it in 30 seconds, play for a lifetime kind of game, frankly.
Yeah,
It's one of those kinds of games, and it's great. I believe that's it. Okay, so now we're going to have old games. Get ready. So how we do these is we're just going to go through. Each game is on here for 2.5 seconds, so we're going to talk about it in that amount of time. We're going to go through. There's like 70 of them because we played a lot of older games.
Strap in.
So get ready for some
Give my
chaos
thumb up,
over
thumb
the span
down.
of like 3 minutes here because it's going to be nuts.
So if anyone's just like, hey, it's too chaotic for me, this is your warning. All right,
Yep.
we're going to do it.
Get
we're
out
going
of
to
here.
do it.
It's going to happen right now. All right, Mike,
right.
ready? We're going to
See
start
what we played.
with, I think I've been on a lot of chokes, so get ready to talk about that.
Literally such a good game.
It's
I
so
love it
good.
so
It's so,
much. It never
so
gets
good.
old.
Oh, Acropolis is also
I
a good one.
still love it. I need to
It's
play
great.
it more.
You played Anachrony?
Anachrony, I've been back on that Anachrony
Oh,
train
that's
now.
good.
I like it.
Arch, we did a playthrough of it. Wait for our review
We'll
on
talk
that.
about it. We'll talk about it.
Arc Nova's so good. It's
already
just
know it's
such an
great. You already
incredible
know it's
game.
great.
Avant-garde to play with Jimmy. It's a good
Underrated
little,
deck
it's a good
builder.
one.
Azul Duel, I'm digging it hard.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Beyond the Sun, I've started to figure out I can actually finally score points.
Boomerang Europe.
Boomerang Europe, great. The Boomerang games are great.
Play Cascadia with Sasquatch, still great game.
Undoubted classic. Castle
Combo,
Combo,
great. Also great.
Absolute banger.
Castleberg, what else you got to say?
Castleberg is
It's so
all-time
good.
classic.
Play Challengers.
War. I still don't know what's going on.
Chicken.
In that.
Push your luck. Good stuff.
Push your luck. Funness to play with my
Circus
daughter.
Macati, great game. We played this at breakfast. It was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Play Claim.
Absolute great 2-player trick taker.
Clans of Caledonia, top 10 game of all time.
All-time
Easy.
game.
Cole Barron played this at Dice Star West. It was great.
I haven't played it in a minute.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
good.
that one. Cubitos, haven't played that in a minute. Played it with a Kickstarter backer. It's such a good game.
Creature Caravan shows to Jimmy. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah. Crown of Amara.
Yeah, I played with Steven. Some of that's a really great game.
Jealous of you. Darwin's Journey, been on that, still digging it. Dead
Gotta
Cells.
play Dead Cells, the final version, really, really good still.
Yeah, I need to play it.
Oh, God, I love Distilled. We just
playing with
streamed
Reggie
this,
right now, about to finish up a game. Donuts. Been getting defeated by Reggie in that one a lot. Dragon vs. Van Helsing, great 2-player game.
Play a bunch of games, Fast Sloth, great. I love it. One of the best games ever made.
Good game. Feast Rodent, all time I'm back on it. I'm hard on him right now.
Lord of the Trick Taking, I played this at Dice Star West.
Incredible.
Incredible. Also, it's great game.
Fidget Print, yeah, I haven't played the Fidget game in a while.
Fromage.
Cheese stuff is good.
For the win. Why is it called that? Who knows?
Who knows? But it is fun, though.
Fuji Flush, one of the greatest games ever made. I
Why
love
is
it
it
so
called
much.
that? Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, Gold Oblivion. Weird game, silly game, deck builder, fun.
Grand Austria Hotel. That Cokehead. Oh, it's so good.
El Paso, been digging it more. First play wasn't everything. Guild Merchant Explorer, still super duper fun, kind of a roll and write, but not.
Hadar is a great game. Haven't played in a while. I really like that one.
Yeah, I like that one. Heat, really fun racing game. Still digging on that.
Igloo Pop. Oh, let's talk about Igloo
All
Pop.
timer.
Igloo Pop is ridiculous. Igloo Pop we play with hello Matthew Jude. Love you so much.
Well, Matthew, as I mentioned, I played Gold Oblivion with Matthew Jude.
With Matthew Jude. Igloo Pop is a game that's a little dated, as you can see, but this is a very silly game. We played with David Phillips at Dice Star West and his daughter Maybeth. This is a crazy game where you have these igloos that have like balls in them, and you're basically, they have values. Like there's like 7, 1,
13
8,
or something.
and you basically take it and you shake it, and you have to basically try and figure out how many like of these little balls are in there.
Based on the sound of it.
It's very, very silly. It's ridiculous. It's very unavailable, very, very dated, as you can see. But
I did so
ridiculous.
poorly at it.
Onward! This one's a
Just
great
one,
game.
Still a classic
classic.
party game.
Combat.
Come on, Evie. All time I played it very late at night. It was great. King of Tokyo Duel. I like it. I like it better than King of Tokyo.
Let's go to Japan. Why not? Let's go to Japan.
Let's go to Japan. Moon River, man, I've been digging. I want to pick it up physically.
Oh, God, I love no thanks so much.
As always, we say yes, please, no thanks.
Yes, indeed.
Parks. You played OG, but we played second edition, so that was a new one. Pirates of Maracaibo is good. Primal, really fun. Proglos Club.
All-time game. Best game ever made.
Oh, so good.
Resicon,
I'm always on that res.
Yeah, you are always.
You already know.
Revive?
I
feel like this is going to be GA, right?
I've been digging it.
River and Gold I showed Jimmy. Really, really fun game. Outstanding. Riverside I showed Vision and Sasquatch. Really, it's a good little roll and write.
Riverside, man.
Sea Salt and Papel.
The Papel. Seasons.
Season.
So
I'm back
good.
on that
first thing we played Dice Star West.
Yeah,
Space Base.
Bass.
You already know. It's so good.
Classic.
Man.
Space Station Phoenix, really, really good. God, we got to show
Where that
someone.
expansion at Splendor Duel, really digging it, still digging it more than Splendor. Stone Spine Architects is like cartographers.
Got to play Twat and Suyu Dice Tower West, a great game.
So jealous you guys play Teotihuacan. We played the other day. So good.
Yeah, Terraforming Mars.
Always on
Still
that.
good.
Still a great one.
Right. Tiki Ride, classic for a reason.
Classic for a reason.
Tobago is great. We play this every couple years with our good friend McGreddy, who's a Kickstarter backer of ours, and we always end up playing Tobago. Tobago is one of those games that's also significantly better on BGA than it is in real life.
Yes.
Because this is kind of one of those, you're searching for treasure, but where the treasure is on the map is dictated by what cards you play.
Yeah.
Kind of like Forbidden Desert, where like the stuff is not set in stone because stuff's always moving.
Right.
It's really, really good, but it's kind of really hard to track in real life. Try this out on BGA. It works super well on BGA. Well. Tobago is an all-time game, and we get to play it every couple of years with McGreddy, and it's always
such a fun game. Yeah, I totally get why it's great, but it works better on BGA.
Turing
Machine, I'm on that Turing Machine. You already know. War Chest, I love War Chest, man. It's so good.
We all know Wavelength. Wavelength is so much fun. It's such a good party game.
It's such a great party game. Wayfarers Tigers.
Yeah, I showed
Jimmy.
White Castle, you played like 18 games of it.
1,000 games of that. Don't worry about it.
And Zenith, you played 1 billion games of that.
And that's it.
Done, y'all. Easy.
So many good games, so little time. That's what we played. It was over 100 games this last month.
It was like 100. Also, because I forgot to log it. I played Cacao at Dice Tower West. I saw Sakura and Fam, that one. Love Cacao, and Dave Phillips was playing that game too. There was one other game that I apparently forgot to log, and I can't remember the heck it was. But I remember somehow I forgot to log Cacao.
Huh, there you go.
Also showed Cacao to people. It's so good. All-time game.
Cacao is so good.
It's an all-time.
Played on Board Game Arena. Works really well over there, too. That's what we played,
That's what we played, y'all. It was like 107 games, something like that. It was a lot of games this month, y'all. A lot of games.
Steve was saying about Unconscious Mind. It's a very generous game. Lots of endorphin hits every turn. I really want to play it again. It's been, it's good. Years. I think we played it back in 2022 or whenever it crowdfunded.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was kind of dogging on it, but I was like, I really liked it. And I was kind of like, wow, I'm surprised I really liked it. I just think there's stuff in the game that just does not need to be there. I think it could have gone through another round of development of like, let's cut.
Be willing to trim a little bit.
A little bit of trim will be great.
Just trim it down a little bit.
Yes, we'll do a little Q&A as we always do at the end here. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll kind of scroll back through and see if there's anything. Hasn't been a ton.
Someone was mentioning that Schrodinger's cat sounds like Skull. Very much so. Very much so. That idea of like how many things can we flip, sort of without busting. I've been loving the trivia. Man, it's TGIB style games you've been doing on the channel. You know it. It is obviously openly inspired by our podcast. Indeed. This Game is Broken, which is awesome. And you can catch every other Wednesday, and you should. Captain Share Mo better than Imperium Horizons. And my question for you, if you're still around, or anyone who has played Captain's Share, which is based on the Imperium games, do you have to be a Trekkie to enjoy it?
I am worried about that.
Because I won't know the references of the characters. I won't get it. But maybe the game itself is really good and it doesn't matter. And maybe it'd be a way for me to learn Star Trek lore. That's a thought. Yeah. Or I just want to understand how to use them because you don't know how Klingons, what that Klingon do. And I'll be like, I don't know.
What's the Romulans? What's the Romans doing? Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I don't know. That's my only kind of concern. I mean, I don't really need to know it, but it's... I want to play it because I like Imperium that much. I think it's so good. I'm curious. I think it'll crack my top 100. We'll see where. I'm very curious where it ends up for you. I think it'll end up in your top 10. If you keep playing it and keep enjoying it.
It might crack your top 100?
Maybe. I think so. Probably.
It's in my top 10 now. Right now. At least as of now.
I love it. Yeah. I'm a big Trekkie, but haven't played it yet. Definitely want to try.
Jared,
Jared.
When you play it, let me know, partner.
Yeah.
Being Giants fans, are you guys upset that the A's are following you? What do you mean? That they're in our town?
I'm not upset. I'm happy to have MLB.
Here's the thing.
I'm happy to have MLB nearby.
As we say, the American League, by all accounts, does not exist.
They don't play baseball
until October.
Yeah.
They don't play baseball. The Yankees use different bats than anybody else.
They can now have beards.
They're hitting it 1,000 feet. Have you been hearing about this?
Yes, I have.
Torpedo bats. The American League is a joke. So I don't mind that the A's are in town because it's a chance.
Their pitchers didn't used to have a hit. Now they corrupted the whole league.
They did. They corrupted the whole league.
I like pitchers hit. I'll die on that hill.
The American League is a joke.
Yeah, so the American League doesn't exist, and they don't actually play baseball, so we don't really acknowledge that they're in town. But I am happy that we have MLB in town, of course. Yeah. Although the tickets are hella expensive, and I'm like, You're coming to see the A's at, what's it called now?
Park.
It's called
Sutter Field Park, I think, or something.
Sutter Medical Park or whatever. It's Rayleigh Field. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't charge for those. They're hella expensive. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, to go, it's tomorrow. Like, it's the home opener, and it gets a home opener, but it's like the lawn seats. We're just sitting on the grass. It's $65. I'm like, I'm okay.
Like those seats are
I'm
like,
not gonna get my back hurt sitting on grass for $65.
those seats are like $5 for like River Cats games, which is our AL team and our minor league team. Yeah. And so I'm just like, get out of here.
Yeah,
so,
but with that said, I'm happy they're in town. I have a weird, like, low-key hunch that they are going to stay in
You think so, too?
Sacramento.
We'd have to build them a new arena.
For sure.
I don't think we're going to do that.
I think we would.
Oh, God, I hope not.
We built a big basketball stadium in downtown.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we do?
Because the Kings have been here.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Just don't be using my taxpayer dollars for that. You're a billionaire. But that's the thing is, I don't. Well, it depends on the city, because that's why they left Oakland, because they're like, Oakland, build this new stadium. Oakland was like, no. And they said, okay, we're leaving. So.
Yeah, the A's are run by horrible people who should give up the A's because they're terrible people.
But also, they didn't they level the Tropicana in Vegas for the field?
Yeah, but there's just weird stuff going on.
Right?
I don't know, man.
They're gonna be here for like 3 years. I'm excited because I like baseball, and I'm happy to have more baseball in town. I was really excited to go to River Cats games. I'm still curious of how they're gonna work the schedule, but so we'll see.
But yeah, excited. Giants are off to a good start in the season so far. So far so good. We don't have to disown them quite yet. It's not going to matter how good we do, but it'll be nice to have at least a decent record compared to. I think the Dodgers will go, I don't know, 160-2 probably.
Probably. It's because they're going to win forever. It's so boring.
My conservative guess.
They got someone else, I can't remember who it was, and then they got Blake Snell. I'm like, cool. Everybody. This is the most boring timeline of baseball ever.
It might
bring steroids back. I'll say it.
It might kill. Make them
bring
mandatory.
Steroids back. Give me Shohei Ohtani, juice to the gills.
Oh my god, he throws 110 miles an hour. Like, oh my gosh. What's your favorite pinball machine? We went to a pinball place the other day.
And in Dice Tower West. Since our last rap reviews, we've been to 2 pinball places.
We have been to 2 since our last rap reviews.
My favorite pinball machine. Okay, so here's the thing. It's hard for me to say because my favorite pinball machine is so biased. Because my favorite one is this Lord of the Rings one that I've played before, and then we got to play in Vegas. That is my favorite one because it's Lord of the Rings. I will love that one more than anything else. It's really fun. I played the new Dungeons and Dragons one.
It's amazing.
There's a new Dungeons and Dragons one out there that is...
Because you go on quests.
I can't pay attention to all that stuff. They're like, you're going on these quests. Shoot over here. I'm like, I'm just trying to stay alive.
You just got to look for the blinking lights.
Bro, I can't do it. The new Dungeons and Dragons one is
super cool.
Nuts. And like, it's still like in beta, basically. They haven't even updated a lot of the stuff for it, so it's just getting cooler and cooler. Yeah. If you're into pinball, try the new Dungeons and Dragons. If you're into pinball,
you can like track your plays with an app and stuff. And with the D&D game, you can keep your character and like actually level your character up and stuff and play over time.
Yeah.
Dude, the blend of like the technology with the pinball is like so dope.
Yeah, we know some people who are super into pinball and they've been telling us about it, and it's like the new stuff, because now it's just like technology like Bluetooth, and they can like retroactively upgrade stuff. It's like
it's crazy.
The pinball world is crazy, and I'm like, I wish I had more disposable income because I think I'd want a pinball machine.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh my god,
we do not have anywhere near the funds to get into that game, but man, it'd be fun.
But yeah,
Sasquatch had the dragon horde of balls. It was like 10 balls. I got that too. It was like a multi-ball on steroids. Like 10 of them. It was
very
craziness.
Stressful. Really, Josh said, "Thanks for playing Fast Sloths with me during Dice OS." Of course, I love Fast Sloths. So do you know what animal you would want them to add to the game and maybe how it would move? So in Fast Sloths, you are very lazy sloths, and you have various animals that will move around the board and pick you up and move you around to get your leaves that you want. But all the animals move in different ways. That's an interesting question. What would want to add? And because all the animals move appropriately for that animal, right? So like a giraffe can like pick up the sloth from 2 spaces away and drop them off 2 spaces away because they have a very long neck, right? So, gosh, what would you want?
I feel like they have so many of the good animals covered in terms of like mechanically what they do. Let me think. What would we add?
Maybe something like a cheetah that you can only play like 1 card, but they're high value, but you can only move in like a straight line. Oh. Because a cheetah's not cornering.
That's interesting.
Because you have the unicorn, which you can only play 1 card from. But I think a cheetah where it's like you can move really far, but you can only move in a straight line. So you have to kind of position yourself in a situation where they can kind of go like, pew, like that.
I would like something, it probably would break the game, so it wouldn't work, but like something like a beaver who can take water tiles and make them land because you like build a dam and stuff, so it makes like a bridge across
That's interesting.
the water. That might just break stuff. But I was like,
If you play, you wouldn't be able to play with like the dolphin or something like that. But you can also play with like the crocodile because the crocodile is in the water, but they can also be on the banks, and so they could like go over those.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting. Beavers is a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yo, Friedman, hit us up, baby.
We got ideas.
We got ideas.
We can make our own. Make it like a little promo.
Yeah.
You know, situation. They could just like fold in. Maybe we could hit up 2F Spiel about that.
Yeah, 2F Spiel. But yeah, so the only pinball machine I really remember is the Terminator 2 Judgment Day machine. Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones. There's
I played Ninja Turtles one that's really fun. You choose like a turtle to play as, and like it's got this like magnetic pizza that the ball will glom onto and start spinning around doing crazy stuff. And you're like doing missions of fighting the foot. The TMNT one was dope.
Yeah, they're super cool. There's all these ones. There's like a bunch of like James Bond ones that are like really, really good. And again, there's the Elvira ones like really cool. And again, there's like the crazy thing about pinball, which like we didn't know about, is there's like all these levels of pinball machines. So like let's take like the Elvira one that's like somewhat new. It's like there's like the base one that you can get, which is a certain amount of price. But then there's like all these different versions that kind of get like nicer and nicer and nicer. And they have like all this like crazy like red metallic casings and stuff. And they get crazier and crazier and crazier and more and more and more and more expensive. But they get really cool.
And then on top of it, there's also people who like modify machines and stuff. So I think it was with like Godzilla or something where they swapped in a different Godzilla that the spikes would like glow and stuff, and they just like created this like new like it's a really interesting hobby because you have like these very passionate people who are blending like really cool like technology with also just the physical nature of building the pinball machine, the physics and all of that, and what bumps off what like. I think it's absolutely fascinating.
It's like, really
building a pinball machine. I think it's really really cool, and just like with the ability, like again with D&D or the Ninja Turtles one, where you can like be doing missions and you can like actually cycle through a menu and select what you want to do, and that changes like what things light up and stuff because they're blending the technological side with the physical. More and more and more, and I think it's just like that is like crazy cool.
Yeah, it's
super duper cool.
Nuts. It's very, very cool.
So we've been getting into pinball these days. Now we can only go and play pinball where pinball exists already.
True. We are not getting
maybe someday we'll hit that lotto and then we'll get our own
pinball machines.
Situation.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Thankfully the Board Game Geek people are into pinball, so when we go to Dallas, we can play their machines.
Yeah, exactly. Or we go to Lincoln's house and play his, Nonetheless, I think that's going to be it for us, y'all. Thank you all so much for being here for this wrap reviews. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. We really appreciate it.
Give her a thumb.
Let us know what your favorite game you played last month was down in the comments below. We would appreciate it. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and the rest of your week.
Have an even better week, you know?
Yeah, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.